Last week on SLV we celebrated our last supper ashore with Riley's dad Tony, who will be joining us for the Pacific crossing. We set sail and Riley teaches his dad the ropes as we have a blissful first few days at sea. I made a mistake. I was supposed to buy self-raising flour and I have no idea what it was, but it definitely wasn't self-raising flour because my bread loaf is now damper. This is actually a brick. What do you think?
I think it's very difficult to provision in a foreign country.
Thank you.
Okay.
I couldn't read the label, I asked the man.
It's also
and he said
difficult
it was
to order any different piece of yachting equipment that you might need and indeed accomplish the smallest of tasks.
Do you forgive me?
I do.
Oh well.
It's remarkably similar to my first effort as a 10-year-old cooking bread.
It's a shame we didn't get to film more as we were leaving the Galapagos because we were so rushed between picking up Tony from the airport, stocking up and having to catch the ferries with about 20 boxes of food, checking out of the country, which turned out to be a nightmare, and filling up, which was also a nightmare. Yeah, we didn't really even have time to pick up the cameras, unfortunately, so I just wanted to show you what we've got on board before we get too far ahead and eat all the food. Basically, I'm just going to show you the food that we bought. Heaps of fresh fruit and veggies. Behind here, we've stashed some canned food. We bought about 1 million cans of tuna, canned soup, and in Tony's room, in that back wall there, there's about 1,000 cans. Same with the other side. More carbs in here. We got pasta, more pasta, quinoa, can't forget the quinoa, pancake mix. We got 5 cartons of eggs. As you can see, we like eggs and we've already gone through half a dozen. We heard from another sailor that if you rotate the eggs, if you flip the whole carton, they're less likely to go off. So we're going to give that a go. We've got a heap of UHT milk and we've got almond milk as well. A whole heap of cereal and porridge for breakfast. Some more delicious pasta and rice, and that's about it. No. Hello, dolphins!
The latitudes around the Galapagos are a convergence zone, which basically means unpredictable winds and squalls with torrential rain. We got sick and tired of making sail changes all day and all night long, and I probably should have just motored. We couldn't wait for when we finally picked up the trade winds, generally about 200 to 300 miles south of the Galapagos.
It has not stopped all day. All day.
I believe you have a superficial burn.
Superficial burn?
There's some drama on the Vagabonde.
I don't mean that it's vain, it talks about itself a lot. It's just not very deep.
What's happened, Tony?
Oh well, we had a bit of a wind blast and had to ditch the rope to the Jenica, which I did, and then I looked up and saw that Riley was down there with a flapping sail, so I tried to grab hold of the rope again to help, and I've got pretty bad rope burn. It's very foolish on me.
Hold burnt area under cool running water for 20 minutes. You sort of did that.
Yeah.
Remove jewellery and rings and carefully store and document. That cannot be the next most important thing. Document the jewellery.
Yeah, move on.
Cover the burnt area with a loose and light non-stick dressing, preferably clean, dry, lint-free, non-fluffy material, e.g. plastic cling film.
To add add to the drama on the Vagabonde, due to all the wet weather over the past few days, the autopilot controller had started malfunctioning.
Well, I can see there's moisture inside, so I'm hoping it comes back on, but if it doesn't, we're going to be very, very tired. There's 3 of us on board, so you sort of need 2 on shift at all times now, because to make any sail changes or anything, you've got to have someone driving. You can't just hit autopilot and make a few changes. So it's going to be pretty difficult, I think.
Fingers crossed for the autopilot to come back on. We taped up all the instruments to try and avoid any further problems.
Elayna Caruso here, she's the youngest member of our team from Perth. She's been steadily travelling along. It's probably odds on for this event, I'd say. And you can see some of the reasons why here. She has almost a sixth sense as to where the wind's coming, and I believe that that is the advantage that she has in this event. You can see that the sideways swell and counter current don't seem to phase her too much. Very much a face of concentration there as she powers on. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gobbles up the other competitors in this event over the next few days or so. And I've got the Vagabonde here as an odds-on favourite. I really do. What do you think about that?
Very creative.
Alright, so it's day 5, I think. The autopilot isn't working, which everyone's pretty devo about, in particular Dad.
Hello everyone, today's been a day of highs and lows. We had the autopilot go off. There was talk about turning around and running like hell and going for home.
We had problems with the autopilot yesterday, and we had problems with the spinnaker today. So we went and we fixed all that up, and we came back out the back, and the autopilot just completely stopped, and Dad threw a coffee. not a full coffee, but just a mug, and an empty mug, and it landed on the seat. He wasn't stressing, but he was, and he goes, "Oh, if it's not the spinnaker, it's the bloody autopilot." And Elayna and I just absolutely cracked up. It was so funny.
And we've been manually steering ever since. I had a crack at the manual steering this morning when we had the motor on. I'm no good at that, I can tell you. But I had a crack at the steering this afternoon with the Getgogetter out, and the wind just pulls you in the right direction, so I might be a little bit more deft at that. But I'm certainly not looking forward to steering the whole way to the Marquesas Islands. And that's all I would like to say about that.
Yeah, realistically that's pretty bad. So everyone's going to have to steer the whole time, so I'm going to have to be ready to jump on board when help is needed, because we're essentially a man down, so I'll have to do all of my shifts plus sleep outside and probably get woken up all night, which is a bit annoying. But it was the brakes, I suppose. Really didn't need that. Really did not need for that to happen right then. But at least we know what to do. All we have to do is steer, so it's not a problem that's not fixable. It's just going to be very, very difficult. Okay, that's the journal entry for the day.
We started to get a bit serious about trying to fix this autopilot. I see a little bit of water, but not much. So it was funny because I've had to explain to Elayna, you know, dozens of times, we're living on a boat, you can't have a washing machine, you can't have a blender. She eventually won that battle. And then
You need a blender.
finally, what saved the day with the autopilot? Elayna's hairdryer.
What do you reckon?
Not what I signed up for.
Yeah, Standby doesn't work, none of the buttons work, nothing works apart from auto. We're about to round up. Maybe turn it off and we'll turn it on again and go 10 degrees that way. And then we can leave it on for a bit longer. Unfortunately, the fix didn't last long, and the next few days of hand steering around the clock were extremely tiring for all of us. But with a little music and some podcasts, time went fairly quickly on shift and we battled through as best we could.
Kiss my lips, push me over into the sea, then jump in after me, and let's swim to the bottom. Maybe we might find an open door connected to the ocean floor. I could give it one more time. Take my soul. I could give it one more time. Take my soul.
The past few days have been a test on all of us, but I think I've learned a few things. I've learned a lot more about the weather and how precious time is. So we've sailed 20,000 nautical miles in the Vagabonde, and we always try to take the helm for a few hours every day, but you know, never for 24 hours a day. So I guess, yeah, I've learnt a few things from this experience, and I've also realised how cool it is that we are able to move our home around the world by putting energy into the boat and working with the wind. It's an amazing thing, sailing, to be able to move your house around the world. It's awesome, and I do love it. But you know, I'm pretty keen for the autopilot to resurrect itself sometime in the very near future.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Please join us next time as we celebrate Halfway Day. We are greeted by some rough weather and there's a few tears.
I raised myself above the sky to see the old light.
Having a ladies' day today here on the Vagabonde. I've locked myself in our room and I'm going to try and not see the boys for a whole day. I obviously can't get too far away, but for a little while I'm just going to pretend that I can. Painting my nails, plucked my eyebrows, I'm doing my face. I actually gave up refined sugars for this whole trip, so my skin is finally breaking out and I can feel some goodness happening in me. It feels really good. Anyway, I look ridiculous, so I'm leaving.